everyone, welcome back to the Avocado Toast Budget. Today I am walking you through how I'm changing my budget setup in YNAB for 2021. Today's video we're going to go over how I am changing up my personal budget, and then the next video we're going to go over how I am changing up our joint account budget. If you're a beginner to YNAB or you're just looking for some inspiration on how you can change up your budget a little bit, this is definitely the video for you. So if you want to learn more about budgeting, saving, investing, and how to finally feel more confident with your money, make sure that you hit that subscribe button that is down below. Also remember to push that little bell notification. It notifies you every single time that I upload. So let's go ahead and get into how I'm changing up my personal budget in YNAB. Okay, so this is my personal budget that I have been using for 2020. We can see here I've pretty much spent everything that I have to spend in November, and I actually want to go ahead and just completely start a new budget. I have some different ideas in mind of how I want to set up my budget, and I think it'll be easier to just completely do a new budget instead of making a fresh start. If you want to see how I make a fresh start with a budget, I went ahead and chose this option for our joint account, and I will link that up here above so you can check that out if you want to see what that is like in YNAB. But instead, I am actually going to do new budget. I'm going to name it 2021 personal budget. Keep everything the same, click create budget. And then basically what it takes me to is your starting page. This is exactly how YNAB looks whenever you start a new budget in it. Whether you're starting your first budget ever or your 100th budget with YNAB, this is what it's going to look like if you choose that new budget option. So you don't have any accounts in here. You have the category groups and the categories that they have already set up for you. We're gonna go ahead and change these around. But the first thing that I want to do is go ahead and add my accounts into YNAB. All of my accounts I always just do unlinked. For me, it's just a lot easier. Trying to keep up with reconciling it with a linked account actually confused me even more. So I've always kept all of my accounts unlinked. So I'm going to go ahead and add these accounts into YNAB right now. So I've added all of my bank accounts. Now I'm going to go ahead and add my credit card into YNAB. This is an Amex. I'm going to click budget for my entire balance because I know that I have enough in my account to cover this. I'm no longer in credit card debt, so I know from my previous budget that I have the money to cover everything that is on my credit card. So in that case, I'm going to click this budget for my entire balance button, click next, and then I am done. So once that loads, that is going to pull all of these over here, put that money up here at the top, and then it's going to show us our pre-selected categories and category groups. So I'm going to go ahead and show you how I am choosing to set up my budget now. The first thing that I'm going to actually add, I'm just going to go ahead and delete all of these and add my own category groups. The first one is going to be student loan minimum payment. And then I put a little emoji, the name of that category, and then how much it is. So my minimum payment is $422. The next category group that I'm going to do is extra debt payment. So my plan is to actually just pay an even $500 every month toward my student loans. So I'm going to go ahead and put that here. I'm just going to set up my categories and category groups first, and then we'll go through and start to make our goals for those categories. The next category group that I'm going to do is adulting, which are just my fixed expenses. Drag that down here. Again, you can drag these and reorder them however you like. I just always like my credit card to be at the top here. Now, in my personal budget, the only fixed expenses that I'm responsible for are the ones that are separate from our joint expenses. So these include Audible and Progressive. Those are the only two that I have in my personal account. My joint account is where we have all of our things like rent, utilities, insurance payments for the cats, internet, and all of that. So if you want a budget that looks a little bit more like your typical budget, I will link that up here below and show you how we redid this one. This is just going to be my personal budget, which is 70% of my income. We put 30% of our income into our joint account, and that is what covers our joint bills and joint saving. So again, those are the only two for my fixed expenses. So my next category group, I'm going to call Live Your Life. And these are all of the variable, just kind of extra things that I want to budget for. These are not necessities, but these are things that I would like to have money for during the month. Okay, so I guess not all of these are things that are not necessities. Things like groceries and gas are necessities, but these are all of basically my variable expenses, those things that I'm not going to spend the exact same amount on every single month. So the biggest difference here between my last budget is that I now have this groceries categories. This used to be in our joint account, but then we started thinking about it and we realized we eat very separately. We don't eat the same things. Very rarely do we eat the same meal together. And if we do, it's usually like breakfast or just a few things that we could alternate picking up from the grocery store. So we actually decided that it would be a lot more fair for us to just each buy our own groceries. So this is going to be a new budget category that I have to budget for. But in order to make up for that, we are putting a little bit less into our joint account. That way we each separately have a little bit more money to spend on groceries, since we weren't budgeting for that separately before. So I have groceries, gas, eating out, coffee, random shit, and date night in here. The next separate category that I'm going to do, this used to just be a little category, but now I want it to be its own category group, is work. So inside of work, I'm going to have a category for client materials and a category for BT appreciation, which are my staff. That is it for work. The next category is going to be Liz. I used to, again, just have this as a category itself, not a category group, but now I want to split this up a little bit differently, because what I'm going to do is I want to save up a little bit at a time every single month to have a grand gesture. So something bigger that I can get for her or pay for, maybe it's a trip or whatever it happens to be in the future. I want a good chunk of money set aside for that. So I want it to have its own category here. Along with that, I also pay for a Scentbird subscription for her. And then this one is just random things throughout the month, random acts of kindness, things that I want to get her, things that I want to pick up for her, just little things here and there. That's going to be included in this category as well. The next category group is going to be open-ended savings. This used to be my sinking funds, but now I'm going to split them up a little bit differently. Pay it forward, this is basically just my random acts of kindness category or my donations category. Oh shit, or the things that I've forgotten about, but those are gonna be more on a larger scale. I'm gonna add to this every month, hoping that I don't have to take too much away from it. So if something big comes up that I have forgotten to incorporate into my budget, I can use that rather than having to pull from multiple different budget categories. A new car, car repairs, treat yourself, medical, new phone, a new computer. This used to be combined into one for technology, but now I know that the two main things I was saving for is a new phone and a new computer, neither of which I need, knock on wood, right now. They're both still hanging in there, but I know that those are going to be the two things that are coming up next in my budget that I'm probably going to need to budget for. So I went ahead and just split these up into two. That way I know exactly how much I have dedicated towards each thing. And then this is my mystery category. I know what this means, but I don't want the person who this is for to know what this means, so that's why it has a bunch of question marks there. The next category group that I'm going to have, I am calling celebrations, and these include a fund for my birthday, Liz's birthday, and Christmas. Then I want to create a category group for annual subscriptions. These are savings goals that I know exactly how much I'm going to pay, what I am paying for, and when it's due. So this is why I'm separating my annual subscriptions from my open-ended savings goals, is they are funded a little bit differently, and I just wanted to go ahead and keep those two things separate. So I have my Calm subscription, my BACB renewal, that's for work, malpractice insurance, this is also for work, and our Capital One annual fee. Then I want to set up a category group for my investments. Right now I have a 401k through my work that automatically gets taken out of my paychecks, so that money comes before I ever even see it. And then I also have a Roth IRA. And then I also want to do a savings challenge this year. And I know that one of the ones that I want to do is a spare change challenge, where at the end of budgeting, if I have like less than a couple of dollars or a few cents left over, I'm just going to go ahead and throw it into this category and let it add up throughout the year. We might add on another savings challenge on top of that, but for now I know that that is one that I will have in my budget. I also want a category for funded savings goals. So these are the savings goals that I've already fully funded for. So this includes Christmas 2021, a ring, and Liz's birthday for 2021. These I'm going to put all the way at the bottom. Okay, so the next thing that I need to do is go through and create goals for all of these categories. For most of these, like my student loan payments, my fixed expenses, and then also my annual subscriptions, I've written right here the day that they come out and how much they are. That way I can access those pretty easily and I can put that into my goal. So for example, for this one, I need that $422 every single month. My extra student loan, I want to be $78, so I'm actually going to add that here. The reason that I've separated these is because I know that I have to make that minimum payment, but if something were to happen, I could cut out that extra $78 because that's just a goal of mine to put extra toward my student loans every month, but the $422 is what actually will be due. Audible is $16.95, Progressive is $185, and then for Live Your Life, things like groceries, gas, eating out, I don't know exactly how much I'm going to spend. So instead, I put goals for how much that I ideally want to spend in those categories. So for groceries, it's $300. For gas, it's $50. For eating out, it's $75. Coffee is $25. Random shit is $25. And date night is $50. My category goals for Liz are $20 for random shit, $5 for Scentbird because I have this only coming out every few months, and then $20 for Grand Gesture. For BT Appreciation for work, I want $15, and for client materials, I want $25. Now for these open-ended savings, I want to save $50 every month for a new computer. Same thing for a new phone, and I'm actually going to change this to a monthly savings builder goal. For medical, I want to put $25. Treat yourself, I want to do $50. Both new car and car repairs are going to be $100. I'm going to have $50 in this oh shit category, $10 and pay it forward, and $50 toward this mystery goal. For celebrations, specifically for my birthday, I don't have an exact amount that I want saved up by then. I just want to kind of save up some. So I'm going to make this a monthly savings builder goal, but for these other two, I do know the date that I need the money and how much that I need. So I'm going to go ahead and put that in there as a needed for spending goal by Liz's birthday in 2022. I'm just going to do the first of the month. Same thing for Christmas 2022, first of the month, and save that goal, and it will do the math for me. This is exactly what I'm going to do for my annual subscriptions as well. I know that this comes out for $40 in May of 2021, so I'm going to make that a goal. My malpractice insurance is $72, May of 2021. My BACB renewal is $250 in May of 2022, and my call membership is August 2021 for $70. And then for my investments, I want to put $100 every single month into this savings goal. That way I can transfer at least $100 every month into my Roth IRA. I don't have a goal for spare change, and I don't have a goal for these since they are already funded, but I will put the amount that they need into each one as we start budgeting this money. So this is our next goal. Now that we have all of our categories and our category groups set up, the next thing that we need to do is start to budget this money. So since November is basically over, I'm actually just going to go ahead and go over here to December. And my favorite part about YNAB is that I can just highlight all of these categories and it will fund it with all of my goals in mind. So now it took about $2,000 from To Be Budgeted and put it into my budget over here. So now the $7,000, I've already planned where I want it to go because really this money came from already built up goals that I had in my previous budget. So I get to decide if I want to keep that same amount in these categories or if I want to move things around or what I want to do. So I know that everything is going to stay the same until I get down here to my Liz category. I'm actually going to go ahead and add $80 into there. I'm going to add $10 to Scentbird, that way I can just go ahead and fund the next one. And I'm going to add an extra $5 to just this random day-to-day gifts that I want to give her. For work, this is going to stay the same. The majority of what is going to change is here in this open-ended savings, because I was already saving for these goals, so I don't want to just leave these at $50 or $100 and then backtrack on all of that savings I already had. So what I've decided is what amounts I want to put into each category to start this new budget going into 2021. For a new computer, I want there to be $450 in total. For a new phone, I want $300 in total. And for this mystery category, I want $200 in total. For medical, I have $525, $300 toward treat yourself, $1,100 toward car repairs, $1,450 toward a new car. I want $240 in total in this oh shit category. And then I'm gonna keep the pay it forward category the same for right now. I also know that the celebrations category is going to change up as well. So toward Christmas of 2022, that is going to remain the same, but Liz's birthday, I actually have $116.66 in there, and my birthday, I have $60. For my annual subscriptions, I already have $20 in total in my Capital One, $42 in my malpractice insurance, $56.85 for my BACB renewal, and $26.95 toward my Calm subscription. I also decided for this month that I want to put $250 into my Roth IRA. And then in these funded savings goals, I already have money in these. These include $56.35 for Liz's birthday, $1,000 for a ring, and $500 for Christmas of 2021. I also know that I have a separate group for taxes that I want to add in here. For taxes that I'm hoping I don't have to pay, but if I do, I want to have that money. And in that category, I have $482.91. That leaves me with $491.41 left to budget. Oh, and then I'm noticing that I actually don't want this money in here. I want this money going toward my credit card, which leaves me with $77.39. So I'm going to put an extra $25 toward gas, an extra $25 toward eating out, extra $25 toward coffee, and then the $239 I am going to put in my savings challenge. And that is it. This is my fully new budget for 2021. Okay guys, that is it. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget before you leave to make sure that you've hit that subscribe button and also hit that bell notification. That way you get notified every single time that we upload. And I will see you guys next time. Bye.